They say the foreigners must go now. So, did you guys go and learn how to fix the phones and the...
My name's Megan. I'm a South African. I'm a Jew. I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm an anti-racist. And I'm also anti-xenophobia, Afrophobia, and anti any discrimination or racism or...
Guys, the white South Africans are now out talking about the xenophobic attacks on foreigners living in South Africa. According to these white South Africans, they are totally not in support, and they do not support Jacinta and crew or the March on March protest. According to them, they don't align with that. Guys, I'm going to be sharing the video here with you also. Please, as you're watching, do so to like and share.
They say the foreigners must go now. So, did you guys go and learn how to fix the phones and the TVs for all that cheap prices that you want? So, ja, ek weet nie wie gaan ons goed nou reg maak, liefde? Ha? Gaan ons mense nou werk vir hy geld? So is the South Africans gonna give that discount pricing and all that stuff and take their time to import all that cheap stuff for you to buy? Oh, what's gonna happen now? Huh? Hey, dinge change nou, jong.
My name's Megan. I'm a South African. I'm a Jew. I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm an anti-racist. And I'm also anti-xenophobia, Afrophobia, and anti any discrimination or racism or bigotry of any kind. I've just come back from the Zimbabwean consulate in Cape Town, where as people are leaving on buses, more people are arriving from Kraaifontein, from Klapmuts, from Swellendam. People are arriving, Zimbabweans are arriving from all over the Western Cape, hoping to be processed and hoping to get onto a bus to go back to Zimbabwe. We are talking about human beings. We are talking about mothers, fathers, professionals, workers, people who have been here since 2006, people who have been here for 15 years, people who've been here for 6 years. We're talking about people who have children with South Africans. And they are being kicked out of this country. They've had to make one of the most devastating choices, one of the most hideous choices. It's been raining in Cape Town tonight. It's still raining. There are people sleeping in makeshift tents. There is a room full of women and babies on the floor. And I am feeling so sick and so ashamed. I went past the Zimbabwean consulate for the first time last Wednesday evening, which is just under a week ago. And I was feeling so hysterical that night. I sent messages to the ward councillor, to Brett Heron, to whoever I could think of, the mayor, Jordan Hill-Lewis, our premier, Alan Windy, whoever I could think of, I sent messages to, because there were people outside the consulate, on the pavement and on a grass verge, with what they could carry out of their houses. And buses have been leaving every day. And at one point there was a church that gave people relief, and people went to go and sleep in a church in Woodstock. But tonight, in the pouring rain, there is nowhere for these people to go. And no one from the city of Cape Town or from local or provincial government can help. No one. No one can help. So we can't have it both ways. We can't kick people out of this country and then not help them leave. It's insanity. What are we doing? Very embarrassing. It's disgusting. And our local and provincial government is 1,000% not disengaged, literally disengaged. So there are all sorts of charitable organizations, all sorts of just ordinary people going and taking food and going and taking stuff to build shelters so that people are not in the rain. What are we doing? What are we doing?
The national shutdown plan for the 30th of June relies on a fundamental kind of violence, an assumption that people will respond to that kind of intimidation and violence and leave before the violence escalates higher and higher. You can see this in the fundamental framing of the protest, which is simply illegal immigrants leave by the 30th of June. In many ways, they try to also co-opt government. They're saying, government, make sure that illegal immigrants leave by the 30th of June, take action, that most, if not all, illegal immigrants are out by the 30th of June. The quiet part that is not said out loud in this statement is very simply, or else. There is a fundamental assumption that is relied upon for this kind of protest to work, for this kind of statement to work, which is that the person listening to it will get the impression that if they don't do something, that if the illegal immigrant who listens to this doesn't leave, or the government who listens to this doesn't take action, that there's going to be further consequences for their inaction. I offer this analysis not because I want to raise the temperature around these conversations even higher. We can see already that media is priming us for that. We are being primed for increasingly violent protests. Everybody's talking about how everybody's hunkering down and preparing for something crazy next week. There is this kind of tension that's being created, and some of it is artificial. There are people who just want to picket, who want their voice to be heard, and I absolutely believe that even if I have fundamental difference in political beliefs, in political opinion, with some of the people who are going to protest next week, that they will do so peacefully. I think we have to be able to address, though, that the elephant in the room for these protests, the thing that will make them work, is the fear that they induce in people who are illegal immigrants. And that fear is because people are afraid of violence. It is nothing else. It is not because people are afraid of strengthening border policy. It's not because they're afraid of strengthening documentation. They're afraid that someone's going to show up at their house, burn down their house, attack them, throw them out, beat them up, ethnically profile them. These are things that deny fundamental human dignity. Whether or not you think that we are doing a good enough job on illegal immigration, I think the evidence is clear that we have a lot of work to do on our immigration and border policies and on the way that we manage our borders and the way that we manage documentation of people in South Africa. Whatever your stance is, the second that we rely on violence, we already dip our toes into xenophobia. The second we rely on intimidation of people because of who they are, because of some kind of ethnic background, again, many of these protests rely on a kind of ethno-nationalist populism. You connect people's national identity to how they look, how they speak, things that are racially profiling, essentially, and then say, they're the bad guys, we're the good guys, we need to get them out of here. As soon as we drift into that territory, then our protests are no longer doing effectively what they need to do. We've lost sight of what we actually need to focus our voices and our energy on.
From the videos you just watched right now, you could see that, the white South Africans do not support the xenophobic attacks because they believe everyone should live peacefully in their country. They don't believe in, because you are black, you leave my country, you're taking my jobs. Nothing like that. But it is only Jacinta and her crew that are always complaining of people taking their jobs. But all the same,